200 women, ages 45 to 70. I asked them one question. When you see a man over 60 who clearly still lifts, what do you notice first? 83% said the same thing. And it wasn't what most men think. Not arms, not absolute. Stay to the end. Because when you hear the answer, you'll understand why so few men still look strong after 60. Quick check. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. Now be honest. If you're over 60 or you're getting close, how many men your age at the gym actually look solid? Not bulky, not bodybuilder, just capable, like their body still listens to them. Most guys can count them on one hand. So here's the real question. Why are there so few? It's not because men over 60 can't build strength. It's because most men quit right before it starts working. And today, I'm going to show you the exact moment that happens. We're going to cover the invisible crisis you can't see, the 3 lies that keep men weak, the simple approach that works after 60, and the dropout phase that wipes people out. No hype, no fluff, just the truth. Here's the part you can't see. Muscle doesn't disappear overnight. It disappears in small decisions. You stop carrying the heavy box. You save your knees and take the elevator. You avoid the floor. You sit down more. You move less because it feels easier. And it doesn't feel like decline. It feels like being smart until one day something simple feels heavy. Stairs feel longer. Getting up feels slower. Balance feels questionable. There's a name for this. Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And muscle loss is not cosmetic. Muscle is insurance because muscle is what keeps you stable and stability is what keeps you independent. Here's the chain reaction. Less muscle, less strength. Less strength means less stimulus for bones. Less stimulus means bones get weaker. Weaker bones plus weaker muscles means worse balance. And after 60, a fall is not just embarrassing. A fall can change your life. That's why I hate when people say, just be careful. Careful is not a strategy. Strength is. I've watched this play out. Men in their mid-60s, late 60s, early 70s. On paper, they're fine. Still working, still sharp, but they've been compensating for years. One guy told me, I stopped hiking with my grandkids. The trails got harder. The trails didn't change. He did. And that's what this is really about. Muscle loss shrinks your world. It quietly removes options. And the saddest part? Men accept it like it's normal, like it's inevitable, like strength has an expiration date. It doesn't. Your body can still adapt at 65, at 70, even later. It's slower, but it's real. So if it's possible, why do so few men do it? Because most men are trapped inside 3 lies. And once you hear them, you'll recognize them everywhere. Lie number 1, I'm too old. You feel older, so you assume the window is closed. But muscle is built from stimulus, not youth. If the stimulus is smart, your body responds. What changes after 60 is recovery. You can't train like you're 35, but you can build strength. Absolutely. Lie number 2, it's too dangerous. Here's the truth. Doing nothing isn't safe. Inactivity is the slow injury. Your joints need load. Your bones need stress signals. Your muscles need resistance. The danger is not lifting weights. The danger is lifting weights stupidly, going too heavy too fast, skipping warm-ups, ignoring pain, letting ego coach the session. That's where men get hurt. But controlled, progressive training does the opposite. It makes you harder to break. Lie number 3, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. That fear is almost funny because you don't accidentally become huge. That takes years, structure, and often help. What you're building is functional muscle, a back that holds you upright, forearms that look capable, a posture that doesn't scream, I'm shrinking. That's the goal. And here's what most men don't admit. Under those 3 lies is fear. Fear of looking awkward, fear of being the oldest guy in the room, fear of starting over, because training after 60 forces you to become a beginner again. And most men would rather protect pride than rebuild a body. That's why the gym is full of younger men and empty of older men who look strong. Not because older men can't, because older men won't be seen learning. So let's make it practical. If you're serious, here's what works after 60. 1 rule, frequency beats intensity. Most men over 60 don't need harder. They need repeatable. 4 or 5 shorter sessions beats 3 brutal ones. Not because you're weak, because you're smart. You want a stimulus you can repeat, not a workout that takes you out for a week. Now the structure. Stop thinking random exercises. Think movement patterns, a squat pattern, a hinge pattern, a push, a pull, a carry, and basic core stability. That's it. Those patterns build a durable body. And yes, you can do curls, but if you spend more time chasing a pump than building the engine, you're missing the point. Next, warm up every session. Not for 30 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes. Mobility, a few ramp-up sets, blood into the joints. That isn't wasted time. That's insurance. Now, intensity. You don't need failure reps all the time. You don't need to prove anything. Leave 1 or 2 reps in the tank. Train with control. Because the goal after 60 is not a heroic workout. The goal is showing up again. Now, nutrition. This is where men sabotage themselves. Protein is not optional anymore. Most older men undereat it without realizing it. Simple rule. Every meal, ask one question. Where is my protein? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, boring, effective, and sleep. If your sleep is trash, your recovery is trash. You can do everything right in the gym and still stall because you're running on 5 hours a night. Sleep is where repair happens, not on rest day, every night. And that brings us to the part nobody warns you about. The moment most men disappear. Around week 6, sometimes week 7. That's the danger zone because the newness wears off. You're sore more often than you want. Progress feels slower, and a voice creeps in. Maybe this isn't for me anymore. That is the dropout phase, and it hits harder after 60 because progress doesn't look like it did at 30. You don't add weight every week. Some weeks you repeat. Some weeks you back off. Some weeks you feel stiff. That's not failure. That's reality. But here's what kills men. Comparison. You look around. Younger guys lifting heavier, recovering faster, building visible muscle like it's nothing. And suddenly you're not competing with yourself. You're competing with a 28-year-old with different hormones, different recovery, different life. And that's when men quit. Not because they're lazy, because nobody told them. The click happens later now. The dropout phase is the test. Can you show up when it's boring, when nobody's watching, when your body feels stiff, when the scale hasn't changed, when you don't get instant validation? Because the men who push through aren't superhuman. They just accept the truth. After 60, strength is built through consistency, not intensity. Let me make it real. I watched my dad go through this, late 60s, stubborn, refused to modify anything. He kept training like he was still in his prime, and his shoulder flared up. Doing something stupidly simple, reaching for groceries, not in the gym, in real life. That moment humbled him, because he finally understood. Strength isn't about ego. It's about autonomy. So he started over, lighter loads, slower progressions, more rest, cleaner technique, and within months he wasn't just stronger, he moved better. He stood taller, he looked present again. And that brings us back to the survey. 200 women, 83%. What did they notice first about the man over 60 who still lifts? Presence, not biceps, not absolute. Presence. The way he carries himself, the way he moves through space, like he belongs there, like he's not apologizing for taking up room. That's what strength gives you. And that's what too many men quietly give up, without realizing it. But you're still here, you're still watching. So do one thing today, not tomorrow. Today, one set, one walk into the gym, one meal with real protein, one decision that says, I'm not done yet. If you're over 60 and you're training, comment your age and how long you've been lifting. Be proof for someone who's scared to start. And if you're committing today, comment 2 words, not done. Subscribe for real talk on building strength that lasts. No fluff, just what works.